So we just made it to Dubai probably about, I want to say 24 hours ago. And it's been an interesting journey, man. It's been good to come here. I mean, from a kid who, I lived in the projects of Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn, New York, I lived in the projects. And I did not ever see myself coming to a place like this where there's a lot of people who are very wealthy, very just overall in a better state, like, of mind, and have an abundance mentality. Everywhere that I walk around, there's just people with abundance mentalities. Like, you can tell just by the way that they walk, by the way they carry themselves. And that's not what someone like me, who grew up in an area where, there's scarcity everywhere. There's scarcity-minded people everywhere. Money is tight. People don't know where they're going to get their next, meal. They don't know. Like, that's how I was when I was growing up. When I was growing up, I did not know. Like, we were on EBT, we were on food stamps, right? And so with food stamps, like, we just got what the government gave us, right? We were just government funded. And even the place that we stayed at my grandfather's place, it was just government funding, right? And so, like, the projects, that's what the projects of New York is. Canarsie, if you know about Canarsie, you know. And, that's where Pop Smoke was from. That's where a lot of these Brooklyn rappers are from. Like, I lived pretty much, like, close by to where Pop Smoke is. And yeah, I didn't have these in my cards at all. Maybe I did in terms of fate, but I had to create that reality for myself in terms of changing the way that I thought about life. And I'm gonna tell you, I always say this, the first thing I did, the first awakening I had was moving to Arizona and seeing a different side of life. If you can expand the way that you move, wow, this bird is about to, like, shit on me or something. But if you can move and see a different part of life, which is what I was fortunate enough to do. My mom took the risk. We moved to Arizona, and I just started to see the suburbs. I started to see how these kids were moving that had money, that their parents were like anesthesiologists, their parents were doctors, their parents were lawyers. And I just saw how they moved, and I was like, man, like, I really lived in a place where if I stayed there, I would have been dead. Right? Like, I had friends that I had made who were into gang violence, into, like, all kinds of crazy things, and, like, they were introducing me to, like, becoming a Crip. If you know what Crips and Bloods are, it's basically just two. I mean, the gangs are the biggest that are around, or was around at that time. There's a lot more now, but I was getting ready to be initiated as a Crip, right? And like, I couldn't. And my uncle. At the time, I had multiple different uncles, but, like, one of them, he was in the gang life, right? And so he was telling me, you got to get out, bro. Like, you can't be doing this type of stuff. And I didn't understand this side of life. Like, a lot of us who grow up in these environments, we don't see this side of life. And so we can't even picture ourselves being like that. But I remember, like, when I went to college after Arizona, and I went to college for basketball, I ended up just staying for academics because I saw the bigger side of life. I saw multiple things. I realized, like, there's so many opportunities out there, right? And I decided to get in the best shape of my life because I knew that there weren't that many people who were in really good shape. There just weren't. There just was not many people in really good shape. And so, like, I decided to really change my life, and I started to see bigger. I started to meet people who were doing bigger things and being around people who were doing bigger things. And now I'm in a place in Dubai now where it's like there was none of this in my cards for how I grew up. Like, this is not scripted, right? It was this is an unscripted, scripted reality that I'm living now, right? Being able to come here, being able to make money online, being able to, create content, provide value to people, and make money just providing value to people, whether it be fitness, whether it be self-improvement, whether it be improving their businesses, getting them into, becoming kingmakers is what I like to call it. Like, that's the economy we're living in right now. Like, men, this is a great opportunity for you to self-improve yourself so much that you can start to improve other men's lives, because men are lost right now. They don't have people to look up to. And especially for me, someone who looks like me, like, being black, like, we don't find many people who can experience life the way that at least I'm experiencing life, and how some of my close friends who are black as well are living life. Like, we don't have a lot of that. So once you get that, it's just a whole different vibe, bro. Like, you level up so fast. And even if you don't have the money that you want, being around these types of people, seeing what's possible, just brings everything to fruition. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at right now. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much, right? And I'll have some comments, some social commentary as well, so you can see. But like, there's so much going on here, right? And for me, it's just been such a blessing to be able to be in this position to really level myself up. And all it took was just believing that I was worth more. Just believing like, yo, there is more for me. There's more for me out here. You have to have a level of arrogance in your life. You have to have a level of ego. You have to fuel your ego. 'Cause a lot of men are lost right now because they cannot fuel their egos, right? They try to go on this spiritual journey of killing the ego, when the ego is what's going to get you to catapult yourself to where you want to be. It's just the truth, right? When I was in the projects, I didn't have an ego, right? I was just happy and content with where I was. I didn't realize that there was more. I didn't realize that I could do more. I didn't have confidence that I could do more. My parents believed that I could do more, so that's a good thing. But it wasn't until I took agency of my life and I started to get out of my comfort zone. I started to get online. I started to meet new people. I started to travel a little bit more, is when I really believed, like, okay, if it wasn't for my ego, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. There's just no chance, like no shot whatsoever. And so I got to a point, man, where I consistently just grinded, man. Just like did what I had to do to be able to get to a point now where I don't even see this as the beginning. I see this as the precursor to my journey, man. Like, I have a long way to go. So it's important. But I hope this was helpful. I appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you on the next video.